Oh, hi there. Well, this is awkward. I was just having a little virtual dance party. Hey everybody, it's me, Lee, with Hey Mr. DJ, and today we are here to share some tips for you on how to throw a successful virtual dance party. Most clients don't want to hear this, but the reality is that it's actually pretty challenging to throw a successful online dance party for an extended period of time. Let's be honest, Zoom and online meetings are already kind of awkward. And when you're thinking about creating an event, in theory, it sounds great to have a dance party for an hour, but you have to remember people are sitting in a quiet environment, maybe in their living room or kitchen, oftentimes tuning in from a laptop or a phone that maybe doesn't have the best audio quality. We can pump out amazing audio quality, but it's always on the receiving end, which is going to make the difference. So is it impossible? Of course not. We have thrown some killer virtual dance parties. So I'm going to share a series of tips that will help you maximize your potential for your next dance party. Number one, pick your platform carefully. There's a ton of options out there now for virtual events and meetings. Zoom obviously is one of the most popular and frequently used on the base level. And then you have more robust programs like Intrado, Excel Events, Hop-On. There's tons of virtual platforms out there now, and they all do slightly different things. For what we do and for throwing a virtual dance party, the number one thing that you want to separate is whether your platform has gallery-based view like a Zoom or a Google Meet or Microsoft Teams, or is webinar format like a lot of the other more robust platforms that I mentioned. A lot of those are developed for large-scale corporate events, and there's a whole host of options you can do, but a lot of them don't allow all the guests to see each other and be all in a room together. So we love Zoom. There's a few that are all kind of in the same space. What we love about Zoom is that they have good support. They're constantly making updates to the platform. They have more options for changing the audio quality than any of the other platforms on their level. And there's some really cool features now like multiple spotlighting. I would also say that Google Meet is pretty good in terms of the audio visual quality. We have not had great experience with like WebEx or Microsoft Teams, unfortunately. Sorry, guys. So when you're planning a party, you want to look into those things, because if you're running it yourself, there'd be nothing worse than putting a lot of time into getting all your guests there and then finding out that the audio quality or video quality is capped and being compressed, or it's just not meeting your needs, and that kind of takes all the energy out. Number two, learn your platform inside and out. Once you've decided what platform you're going to use, you really should invest the time into learning all the controls, all the features. They're constantly making updates. So even when you think you're on the most current version, a week later, there's new features and you don't want to be caught off guard. And sometimes there's something new that will dramatically affect the way the meeting or the party goes. Knowing the difference between a free plan and a premium plan. The free plan only allows 40 minutes for a meeting. Then you have to close out and bring everybody back in with a new link. Also, it limits it to 100 people. So depending on what you're doing or how many people you're looking for, the main one there is the 40-minute time limit. Most people are wanting to have a party or a meeting for at least an hour. But again, the controls and the features are really what you want to make sure you're familiar with. The next thing is understanding that it actually takes 2 to 3 people to moderate and run a successful Zoom call, even if you only have 20 people in the room. I'll just list a few of the things that you want to consider delegating in terms of responsibilities and duties. Number one, of course, is opening the room and letting all the participants in. But as the meeting goes on, I often see this where no one's keeping an eye on the waiting room and people have arrived late or somebody lost connection and they're trying to rejoin. And one person is trying to run everything and there's people sitting in a waiting room. That's really a bummer if you're a guest. You shouldn't be in the waiting room more than about 10 or 15 seconds before you're let in. The next one is if you're going to be sharing screen, sharing any kind of content, being really comfortable and familiar how that works so that the transitions are very smooth and polished. Next one would be having someone in charge of monitoring content, monitoring the chat window, monitoring what all your guests are doing visually. If it's just a small group of friends, maybe everyone knows everyone and you trust everyone, but if you're doing any kind of public event or there's work people, coworkers involved, you want to make sure that everyone is being appropriate, and if someone is doing something inappropriate, you can quickly eject them from the meeting. Or if you get a Zoom bomber, which does happen. Zoom bombers are people that are scouring the internet for unsecured links or try to hack passcodes for meetings, bust in, post inappropriate content, take over the meeting, and it's really a bummer when that happens. Think about if you want to have breakout rooms, if you're going to do any type of networking. To create and manage breakout rooms, that is a job all in itself, especially if you're going to have multiple breakouts, because there's a randomizer that you can use, but it's a bummer if you do multiple breakouts and people go into one room and they come back and kick to a second room and they're in there with all the same people. So you need someone who can actually designate everyone to the breakouts. And maybe you want to put people in teams to do some games, or you want to have different themed rooms. Now Zoom has a feature where people can move in and out of different breakouts on their own, which is really cool. There's also spotlighting. So that also takes another designated person to be able to spotlight, if you want to spotlight then someone that has a cool virtual background, or if you're doing trivia, things like that. And so really spending the time to get to know the platform and then assess what your needs are in terms of support. And this is not an infomercial just for us. These are tips to help, but we highly recommend considering hiring a professional, at least one, maybe two professional moderators, or a professional DJ or a host. If you're doing breakout rooms, you might also consider hiring hosts for the breakout rooms so they can bring in icebreakers or conversation topics and make sure that those breakouts are moving smoothly and the conversation is going really well and everybody's having a fun time. So that's it, the basics there. Number 2 on knowing your platform. Number 3 is consider having a theme for your virtual dance party. Everybody's been on so many virtual calls for work, and if you're trying to throw a fun event or a fun dance party and you really want people to get up and actually really get into it, it's got to be fun, you guys. So creating a theme, maybe doing a costume contest. You could go full out and do an 80s theme and do prizes and encourage people to do an 80s costume or do a best virtual background. It could be something simple if you just want to do crazy hat day, or maybe everyone just dresses up because people have been in sweats and working from home. So you have to shift the mindset and get people into fun mode. People have been on so many Zoom calls, but when they know that there's a theme, it gives them something to drive for. Also, people like to be recognized and acknowledged. So hopefully you have someone in charge of spotlighting and you have some prizes, or you're going to do it for bragging rights. But if people put the time into dressing up or creating a fun background, they've already shifted their mindset into this is going to be fun mode. And then when you start calling people out or maybe challenging people to certain dance moves, they're already just in that mindset where they're ready to cut loose a little bit. So definitely consider having a theme. The other thing about doing a theme, encouraging a costume, encouraging virtual backgrounds, is it really encourages the likelihood that everybody shows up with their cameras on, which is definitely what you want. There's nothing worse than when we tune into a Zoom or a virtual meeting or a party and you have a bunch of black screens, a bunch of cameras out. I also do find that there's energy lacking, even if we get all the cameras on and people are in living rooms that are kind of boring or drab and maybe they don't have great lighting quality. When you throw a theme for your party, it really ratchets up the energy when everyone shows up with fun, vibrant, colorful backgrounds and costumes and outfits. And and it encourages that everybody's going to have a great time and your dance party is going to be rocking. All right, number 4, audio and visuals. I already touched on audio settings earlier, but it is really important to hit on it again. It's really important to make sure that you have good, clean audio, that you've tested it on other devices so you can hear how it's going to translate to your guests. The reality is if the sound is tinny or it's not good or it's cutting out, people are not going to dance. You want to think about, let's say when you've attended a wedding or a party or a club and you walk in, if the sound system is bad, people are less likely to dance. If the music isn't loud enough, people are less likely to dance. All this becomes even more important in a virtual environment. You have to make sure that the audio is good and clean. Also, you want to think about how you're going to present the music. Are you running Spotify or Apple Music? If so, you want to set the crossfader so that songs blend into each other and there's no dead air and you lose energy in between songs. Maybe consider pulling a mix off YouTube. Ideally, we would encourage you to hire a professional DJ who can rock it and engage with the crowd and mixing flawlessly and seamlessly, and also reacting very quickly to requests. There are some huge benefits to hiring a professional DJ and or an MC. Maybe consider, if you're going to run the music yourself, hire a professional MC or host so that there is someone there who's constantly engaging all the guests, calling people out, spotlighting people, throwing out dance challenges, making it really fun. So it takes a village. It is definitely not something that you can just throw on and kind of run it on auto and expect to have the energy that you envision in your mind. And the other thing we really encourage is visuals. When people see interesting and fun visuals, it gets them excited and it gets them interested and it keeps the engagement high. The reality is, even if you have hired a professional DJ, nobody wants to stare at someone just doing this. For even 5 minutes, let alone 30 minutes or an hour. If you don't have a professional DJ and it's you on Spotify, that's also not very exciting or engaging. So incorporating some visuals via screen share, you could share a slideshow or just a cool video. When we run events, we incorporate a lot of visuals. One of the benefits to hiring a professional DJ or production company is that we have really high-end equipment. We have video mixers and switchers and lots of cool footage, what we call video wallpaper. When we do events, especially when we're doing a dance party, we show videos of people dancing. When people see people dancing, it makes them want to dance. It's just like when you walk into a club or a wedding and there's no one on the dance floor, you're like, I'm gonna get me a drink and we'll see how it goes later. When you walk in and there's people on the dance floor, you're like, oh man, that's where the party is. That's where I want to be. Let's go. So we often run footage of dance clips of movies and animated dancing and all kinds of fun stuff to get it triggered. And it also keeps engagement high because people have a sense of, I got to keep my eye on the screen because I have no idea what's coming next. So good audio and visuals, that's tip number 4. Tip number 5, prizes, 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 contests, games, prizes, prizes. People love winning stuff, even if it's small stuff. You'd be amazed at what we can get people to do at our events for a $10 Starbucks gift card. But the better the prize, I always tell clients, the better the engagement. The better the prize, the better the engagement. The better the prize, the better the engagement. Especially if you let everybody know in advance, A, that there are prizes, and B, what they are. It gives them something to be excited about, and it gets people to bring their A game. So as I mentioned earlier, having a theme and inviting people to dress up and do a costume contest or virtual background, or set up a series of dance contests throughout the event. And the more prizes you have, the more flexibility you have. And also a trick on that is announce the prizes at the end. It keeps engagement high, or at least make sure that they're staggered. If you do everything on the front end and then all the prizes have been given out, maybe people are going to bounce. So I can't emphasize enough how much prizes will dramatically change the level of fun and engagement that all your guests or participants are going to bring to the meeting or the dance party. And also interlacing with some games and contests. Remember at the beginning when I told you the reality is that it's actually really challenging to maintain a dance party virtually for an extended period of time. That is absolutely accurate. We get a lot of clients who contact us starting out wanting a dance party or thinking they just want a dance party. By the end of our discovery call, when we customize a package for them, we've worked in sets of spontaneous dancing or spontaneous dance contests interlaced with some games, some trivia, some prize giveaways, and then it really spaces everything out. The reason being, if you just start your party and you're like, hey everybody, let's dance, and then after 10 or 15 minutes, people get tired and you have no fallback, nothing else to offer them, people might start to check out. So, you know, there's a whole bunch of things you can do. Virtual photo booth, by the way, is another thing that you can integrate. But prizes, contests, games, that is going to help dramatically increase your engagement, increase dancing, and make it a fun virtual party. All right, tip number 6, I'm gonna bring it on home. I'm gonna give you some takeaways. We're finally gonna get to the dancing portion of this how to have an amazing virtual dance party video. All the other elements I've covered are paramount to setting yourself up for success so that you have a great dance party and you can deliver the vision you have in your head of exactly how you want it to be in your virtual party. I do want to circle back one more time to contests and games and how that integrates into dancing. Remember at the beginning of the video, I mentioned it is actually quite challenging to sustain dancing in a virtual space for an extended period of time. I just want to reiterate that so that you're realistic about your expectations and you have contingencies planned for it. I hope that you'll consider hiring a professional DJ or MC because we are amazing at what we do and we are built for this. We come in and we take the lead and run with it, and you can just be part of the event and not be stressed out about how to do all those moving parts. But again, as promised, a couple tips are spacing out your dancing, be realistic and flexible, much like a live event. Sometimes people show up and they're just not feeling it. Or I want you to think about when you go out, how long does it take you before you're ready to throw down on a dance floor? You might go to the bar for a while. You might go outside and visit with friends. You might need a few drinks. You might need to see other people dancing. And you have to think about that and be considerate, and everyone has a different comfort level. Again, all that is amplified when we're in a virtual space that is already naturally super awkward and constrained, and the challenges of audio and video and all this kind of things that might be working against you. So I would say have all those things planned out, have contingencies planned. If people dance 5-10 minutes and then it fizzles a little bit, have another engagement for them to do and you can circle back. But here it is. I'm going to give you the put-in. Here's a couple simple takeaways. The number one is direct people. Don't just start music and expect that everyone is going to dance no matter how many Bruno Mars songs you play. You have to direct people. You have to funnel them. That is the same in a virtual event as it is at a live event. So having a few specific dances or contests. One is freeze dance, which is really popular at bar mitzvahs, weddings, corporate events. Very simple to do. You play music, everybody's dancing. When the music stops, everybody goes into a freeze pose and waits till the music starts again. This is really fun because it's visual, so everybody is doing a cool pose. It's great for recording the dance party, getting some screenshots. Another one is follow the leader, which would be you designate someone in the gallery that they're going to do their favorite dance move, and they even maybe get to pick a song, and then everyone else has to find them and follow along. So again, dancing is contagious. People often like to, like when you think about group dances, people like to fall in line to what other people are doing. So follow the leader is a super fun one. Again, using prizes to maybe do a dance battle where you play songs very quickly and then you call out specific dance moves and everyone has to do the robot, or you play the Rocky theme and everyone has to do shadow boxing. The main thing is with all your dancing, you're trying to encourage as much of a visual component as you can because it is addictive. Some people that are introverts, when they're not feeling it and they start seeing how much fun everybody else is having, they're compelled to join in. So there's a few takeaways. Freeze dance, follow the leader, dance battle. We have a ton more. This is the salesy part of the video. If you are interested in throwing an amazing virtual dance party, please consider hiring a professional DJ or MC. If you need more ideas or suggestions, you can check out our blog. You can reach out to us through our website, and we will have some more amazing videos coming your way with fun, creative ideas for virtual events. So that is it. Lee from Hey Mr. DJ, thank you for watching. We hope this is helpful, and I'm gonna dance my way out of this video.